Culture wars are not only an issue for those who live here in the U.S., they're also taking center stage in Russia. Fred Peiken has more on a recent ruling from the country's Supreme Court, which limits the rights of LGBTQ community there.
As Vladimir Putin continues his brutal invasion of Ukraine, at home, the Kremlin is prosecuting a legal war against the LGBTQ community. Russia's Supreme Court now labeling its members as extremists.
The court decision to ban the activities of the international public LGBT movement and its structural subdivisions shall be subject to immediate execution.
That means this may be considered extremist behavior in the future. Safran is a drag artist, often performing at an underground club.
What scares me is that a large layer of interesting ideas, interesting people, and interesting creativity will be lost. I fear for the safety of these people. If they continue to do what they are doing, they could be in danger.
Sodomy and pedophilia, that's how Kremlin-controlled TV has been labeling the LGBTQ community for years in a sustained media blitz.
Sorry, I don't want to talk about these I won't even say this disgusting word out loud. I'm a terrible homophobe. If it were my choice, they would be shot for what they do to each other.
Combating what he sees as non-traditional sexual behavior propagated by the U.S. and its European allies is part of Russian President Vladimir Putin's rationale for the war in Ukraine and one of his propaganda points in a confrontation with the West. Putin styling himself as the defender of what he calls traditional Christian values, even as he recently praised Russia's cultural diversity.
Our diversity and unity of cultures, traditions, languages, and ethnic groups simply does not fit into the logic of Western racists and colonialists.
The LGBTQ community has long faced violence and arrests in Russia, but some LGBTQ activists believe now things could get much worse, as Vladimir Putin gears up for a presidential election next March.
It seems to me that this is part of the presidential election campaign, but the elections will pass and the court decision will remain.
Fred Peiken, CNN, Berlin.